guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I am here to have a bit more of a play using the freebie background papers. If you followed along previously, we have so far made this, it's not really a folio, and if I'm truthful, it's not really an envelope. I'm not quite sure what I would term it, but it's just going to be full of, you know, lovely goodies and things like that. So just something really pretty to give or to receive, or, you know, to store, you know, lovely things in. So far we've got as far as the basic structure. We, you know, made the, you know, this policy envelope type closure, oops, like that. And, you know, we've obviously got a pocket here on the back, and we haven't really kind of got on to too much decorating as yet. Now, just before we crack on with this, I recently filmed my 3 in 30 alphabet challenge for Z and did these gorgeous blingy pieces, which I just can't help but think, ooh, perhaps they go just really brilliantly with this little folder here. So I'm thinking we're going to have to like upgrade this folder, if that makes sense. And by upgrade, I'm meaning make it way more over the top, way more blingy. You know, I mean, so far it's not obviously blingy at all. It was obviously heading, first of all, sort of much more down the sort of natural, you know, not over the top route at all. But I just can't help but think that these pieces just go really nicely with it. So yeah, I hope that I'm not going to, you know, spoil it and ruin it completely. And I hope that you guys aren't going to be literally horrified with with what we're going to be doing with it now. But just something was kind of calling me, and I just thought, actually, I think this would lend itself really well to, you know, a bit of upgrading and a bit of, oh, what's the word? Like zhuzhing up. And yeah, just that was where my inspiration came from. So hopefully we're not going to ruin it, but you know, stranger things have happened. But yeah, so hopefully we're going to make it just look really awesome and really like wow. Okay, so that being said, I think what we need to do is bling it up by edging around some of this in the gold paint. So obviously in the 3 in 30, I just used the gold paint. I have got bits of paint on my hands and glitter and things like that at the moment. So please do excuse me. But all I'm going to do is just go round like very roughly, you know, putting gold paint around. Not going to be, you know, what's the word? You know, focusing too much or anything like that. I'm just literally popping it on just wherever, you know, wherever I sort of think, really. Oops. So just get a bit more. Excuse me, I'm just going to dab that off on my hands a little bit because I had a bit much on there. So we just go round like that. As I say, I mean, this was not where I saw this piece heading at all when we started this in the last video. But it was only that having done that 3 in 30 with the blingy bits that I just thought, oh, actually, I think this would lend itself really nicely to a bit of, the word was zazzy, to a bit of zazziness, which apparently means flashy and flashy and snazzy. So we're just going to do that, and just then along that crease, because obviously I'd done the crease over the other side, so just a bit along there. Oops, and a bit down here. Otherwise we're lacking a bit of gold there. Oh, and there. Right. So that's like the outside now has been zhuzhed up. Oh no, not this side. Can't forget about the piece here, can we? Right, a bit more paint. Wow, I am going to be so messy come the end of this video, I can't tell you. Oh, if you saw that 3 and 30, my gosh, what a mess I got in. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I know I've said this before, but seriously, I mean, I don't see other people in their videos getting quite this messy, but I don't know. We all have our own ways, don't we? And mine just appears to be the messy way. So, right. So that's the gold. And then obviously open it up. And of course, we want to then continue the theme inside. So again, we just go around a bit on the inside there. Just all around. You know, again, I mean, I'm not placing any thought as to where I put the gold. It just needs to go pretty much like anywhere and everywhere, really. So, you know, we just want it to feel really, you know, I guess almost like ostentatious, really. You know, in the nicest possible way, but just really gold and you know, really eye-catching. I can't actually see with my lamp on, I can't really see whether I've actually ended up getting any gold along here at all. So it's either really smothered or there's really none, not sure which. And again, just a bit along here. Okay, now I still haven't done anything with that inside flap, which I think I did say in the last video. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and actually in hindsight I would have obviously covered this before, you know, attaching all my pieces, but you know, never mind, it's kind of too late now, so it's fine. Right, we have you know, put gold now pretty much everywhere on here, so it's now looking nice and blinged up, as it were. Now, what do we want to put along here? I mean, if we're going in keeping with these, let me just run off and get my sequiny trim that we used there. Oops, it's just in my little pot over kind of by my big cupboard. So I'm just going to see, oops, not that tiny piece. Come on. Oh gosh, look, it's just completely knotted up. Oh, come on. So I'm wondering whether we could have the sequiny trim, or is that like just a bit strange? Oh, let's just go for that, because, you know, we are trying to make this quite over the top, aren't we? So we have to just be bold and just go for it. Right, I just need to clean up my 3-in-1 because it's really mucky. Okay. Right, glue, or run the glue, sorry, run the glue along here. Okay, take my sequin thread. This is, I find, quite fiddly to use because sequins do have this way of twisting around, and then they're obviously then facing the wrong way. So yeah, I do find it quite fiddly, but I do think it's pretty. Oops. Right, just trim that off at the end. I mean, I have got 1 or 2 that actually have gone up the other way, but I think it still looks okay. So I just dab those down like that. Okay, And because we're now going blingy, I think we need bling on the butterfly. Otherwise he's particularly unblingy. Oh my gosh, my glue. What's going on? There we go. Okay, so looks pretty so far. Then opening up, we obviously now want to bling up the inside and things. So let's just have a look and see what bits and pieces we've got here. Now I've got this coffee coloured lace that I have been using recently. So I'm wondering if we'd like to have that along that pocket. Yeah, I quite like that. Yeah, I quite like that. So I'm just going to glue that along there. Okay. Like that. Oops. Don't necessarily want it completely straight, so I'm just going to pull it down slightly so that it's a little bit more curved, which hopefully it's got a slightly more curved appearance now, like that. Okay, and then just trim it off here on this edge, which I realise is probably out of frame, but I was just cutting it off there at the edge. I might have to turn this round to work on this section. Now, obviously we need to bear in mind that really it's opening up this way, but obviously just so that I can vaguely keep it in frame, I'm going to have to put it, I think, this way. So again, I'm just going to take that sequin and we'll just see whether we want, in fact, I've got a small bit here, just see whether we want to have any running along here. So that's quite pretty. So I might just cut this down. It's quite sort of curly anyway, so I'm just going to cut that down. Oh gosh, come on. Again, just now stuck on me. Oh, come on, come on. This is very fiddly to use, so yeah, hence why I don't really very often use this in videos. Okay. Right, it's just, oh my gosh, look, what am I doing? Let me just pop this down here and I think add the glue to the fabric rather than the sequin, because my gosh, I will be getting in such a mess if I added it to the sequin. So just pop that down like that. Okay, and just press that around. That looks pretty now. Now, what I should have done was, again, painted a couple of my doily pieces, and, you know, again, I have not been that organised, so I'm just going to quickly do a couple now. And again, just like what I did in the 3 and 30, I'm just going to paint them up with my finger because, you know, I like that patchy finish. If I were to paint them with a brush, I would more than likely have quite a solid look of paint, which, you know, I don't especially want. So hopefully doing them with my finger is a better way to get a bit more of a patchy finish. So there's one. Oops, just need a bit more here. Okay, let me move that one out the way to dry, and I will just do another one so we've got a couple here ready to go. So again, just that. Come on. Okay. Nearly done. Nearly done. Okay, right. So again, just going to leave this one to dry. Look at that lovely pattern it's made on the book page. How cool does that look? Don't know whether you can really see that, but it looks really awesome. So yeah, like how that turned out. Right, excuse me again. Now, on the inside, obviously we had used a bit of sheet music on the other side, so I'm just going to take a bit of sheet music here. We could just pop some sheet music. Oops. In here. Look, sequin stuck on my finger. What is going on? So we could have that there. Again, I should probably ink this up. So let me just again grab in some book page and ink this up. Okay. Oops, just torn it now. It's quite fragile, this particular sheet music, but I mean it's fine because obviously what I'm going to do is just glue along the tear line there, and then obviously it will be, you know, securely fixed to the page, so it's not a problem. I mean, not ideal, but it's not a problem, so. Okay, we're just going to pop that down there. Obviously, I'm not going to spread this with my spreader because, let me just check that I'm in frame. Because this is quite a large book, I have to keep checking that I'm in frame because I'm not sure, you know, where it is in relation to everything. So we've got that there. Now, I might take in one of my postcard images. Again, because I used these in my 3 and 30 and they just looked really awesome with the, you know, this opulent, flashy, zazzy, as the word was then, theme. So I'm thinking we could have that there, but actually now I've held it there. Just move that out the way a bit. Let's just ink this up. Okay. Now thinking we probably could actually have like a fold out here. Or even we could have a fold up. Probably better as a fold out. Let's fold that and just have a look. So, yeah, that would be quite nice, I think. Now I'm just wondering how to attach this, and really what I probably should have done was actually again stitch this in. Right, luckily I kind of heard this little ping and I thought I'm just going to check the camera, and sure enough it had flicked off and run out of space again, so we're back to that malarkey. But yes, you didn't miss anything because luckily I did actually hear it that time. So in here what I'm thinking is let's make some sort of little booklet. Now I've got this paper bag here. This is from some of those Ugg boots. My mum gave me this bag. She'd bought some recently. So I think what I'm going to do is cut the bag down this way, like that. So I'm just going to cut straight the way through, if it will let me. Oops. Straight the way through everything. And then I'll have to do it in separate layers because it was a bit thick. Obviously my scissors didn't really like it. So, oops, I need to be careful that I don't actually cut through my piece that's underneath here. I just pictured that cutting through the actual piece that's there, and then would I upload the video and just kind of laugh about it with you guys and say, well, you know, that's what's happened? Or would I just have to, you know, not upload it ever? I think I'd probably upload it, to be honest, because I'm sure that we all have done things like that at times, which, how irritating when we do things like that. Right, I'm just cutting along here, and I will tidy this up, obviously, afterwards. I mean, I love using paper bags, you know, the brown paper bags. I love this colour. I just think awesome. You know, really has an awesome look to it. So this is super cool. Just going down the edge there. Oops, and I'm going to actually, I'm just going to get rid of this at the bottom. Okay. Just cut this down here. Do I need anything else from here? We have got some card. Should we keep that? Maybe we might use that in a bit. Who knows? Right. If in doubt, keep it. Let's have a look. So we've got this piece here, and then we could make our pages from the paper bag, I'm thinking. So let's do that. Just fold that down there. Cut that. Trim it down this way as well. Okay, just need to trim a little bit more off of here. Okay, so that's one page, and we'll just do another one. Okay, just trim that down. Just trim it down here as well at the side. Oops. That was terribly unstraight. Oh my gosh. Really bad. Okay, so we've got a couple of inner pages there from paper bag, which I think is really nice. So, oops, they just need to be trimmed down slightly more in height again. So just pop those down there and trim them a bit more. Okay, so that's nice there, like that. And I'm still deciding, are we going to glue this in, or are we going to have it? Right, let's just pull in another one of the background pages. Ooh, I could have this as well as a page. This is from that doily that, you know, I used all the doily and said, oh, shouldn't really cut those, you know, throw this away. So let's use this inside our little pad as well. Like that. And I might even leave these scrappy edges. I think they're quite nice. So I'll put that in between. the paper bag pieces. So now I'm thinking we could make a sort of proper cover for this. I was obviously planning on having it just in the coffee dyed paper, but actually we could make it, you know, make it have a proper cover. So again, just take my background page there, and then I'm just going to trim that down. Just take this. Obviously, as you can see, that's massive now compared to my piece. So we'll just trim that down a little bit. Okay. So like that. And like that. So that's really nice now. And then now I'm still deciding how we're going to attach this. I mean, I could have some elastic around and just kind of have this tucked in, but that's a bit weird maybe because it's not really big enough. So now I'm thinking maybe we will actually kind of glue it on here and have it opening out like that. Or I guess we could glue it. No, that's a bit weird. Right, so let's just have a look and see how this will work. So I mean, as you see, you know, we are literally just playing around with this and seeing what's going to work and what's not. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking having it like that. So all I'm going to do in the first instance is put my pages in, and I'm just going to staple these because again, you know, I haven't got my sewing machine to hand. So I'm just going to staple these like that. Okie dokie. And then we'll just ink this up and we will kind of gild around the edges because obviously we're going for that opulent appearance. So we just ink it up everywhere. Ink up our inside pages. Well, not pages actually, but inside cover, inside back cover, like that. And then this inside here, like that. Obviously we want to decorate this up as well, so what I'm going to do is just ink around, not ink around, sorry, gild around the edge pieces of the booklet. Just because obviously, you know, we want to keep now that theme running through the journal. So a bit more there. Well, it's not really a journal, but I don't know what to call it because we haven't decided yet. You know, I haven't decided yet what category it would really fall in. So yeah, I haven't quite decided what it would actually be termed as. And then I'm just going to glitter a bit around my postcard. Okie dokie. And I mean, as I say, this is not what my intention was for this at all. It literally has just suddenly taken shape since the 3 and 30 basically. Right, let's get rid of that. So this is going to go on there. Now I'm thinking we could have a pocket in here, and to be fair, we might as well just utilise what's left of the paper. So I'm just going to trim that down. And I'm just going to pop that there. Just going to glue that down here. Oh my gosh, look at the atrocious job that I have made of that. It's appalling, literally appalling. Okay. Just trim that down here. And then we'll just ink that. And we probably should then gild that or glitter it, shouldn't we? So we'll, again, just use that gold a little bit. Don't have to go too mad because, you know, this is on the inside, but just so as we've, again, got that gold theme just running throughout the whole piece, like that. Okay. And then this, I mean, obviously this is not dry, but we can get cracking enough. Oops. So we're going to have that popped in there. Now I'm just checking that I'm filming because I'm slightly paranoid now that it's going to stop and I'm not even going to notice. Right, pull in my gilded doily and see whether we might like to have that somewhere. And it's a bit of a shame because we're actually covering up that pretty much whole piece of that sheet music, but I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? But it just seems a bit of a shame. I don't know whether that piece is quite right on there after all that. I'm not sure it's the right piece, so I might rethink. Now this piece here, I'm just debating what to do because I probably want to reinforce this spine here with maybe some lace or something running down. So I'm just deciding whether to do that and then pop this on, or whether to reinforce it down here with that just be enough. So let me just bring in, don't know whether this is going to be the lace that I use, but if, say, I took that and then glued that in, I think that would be okay actually. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to, come on, glue this in. So I'm going to glue it right down here in the crease, up here, and then onto this flap as well. Okay, and just pop that down like that. Oops. Okay, like that. Right, so just press that down and then we'll just trim that here at this side. And then with this piece here, we're going to glue this in, and I'm wondering, just working out sort of logistics really. So if this were glued on here, then we could have, I guess, like a paper clip or something holding it closed. That might be quite a good thing. I mean, really ideally it would be great here, wouldn't it? Right, I might not glue this in just yet because I'm just going to have a bit of a think of that, because I know that all of you are fantastic with all your brilliant ideas, and so I don't want to glue it in and then someone come up with something absolutely brilliant that I should have thought of. Although, to be fair, I probably will have uploaded all of these videos before, you know, before I can see any comments, which I guess defeats the object. Now I'm just wondering whether I could have this as another pocket, and I guess then what I could do is have this booklet actually just tucked into the pocket. Let's just have a quick think about that as well. Oh, decisions. It might be too much of that. I mean, I do like it like this. Right. Do you know what? I'm just going to go for this because otherwise I'm just sat here literally dithering around, you know, dilly-dallying, thinking, shall I, shan't I, shall I, shan't I? So let's just go for this. And, you know, I mean, we live and learn, don't we? And so if it really is not very successful, we know for next time not to do it that way. I'm just going to use the 3-in-1 because this is obviously going to glue down onto that fabric, or, you know, onto that lace. So there we go. And I'm going to try and get that sort of into the crease as much as I can. Like that. Okay, right. Press that down, make sure it's glued well. I mean, again, I have actually covered up now that complete sheet music, but that's okay. I'm just wondering whether if we pop that there, we could have that as a little pocket. Just there. Yeah, might do that, I think. So we just pop that one down as a pocket. Now the question is, do we have this as a pocket in the centre, to the side, or right off to the side so it's actually overhanging the piece? Quite like it like that, because weirdly that gives you obviously maximum writing space here, which is quite good. And I quite like the fact that then it's like poking out behind here. So we're going to do that. Right, that's that piece. Finally made a decision. Now we may want to have some of this bridal lace somewhere, because of course we used that in the 3 and 30, didn't we? Just checking this is now gluing down. Like that. Right. So then let's take, I've got this skinny lace here, which again, we did use this in the 3 and 30. I just need to check that I'm filming and that I'm in frame, because again, I'm right down the bottom of the screen. So I'm aware that, you know, this is a really long piece and it may well be hanging, you know, just hanging off. Okay, so I'm going to just trim that down, and we can just then pop that on just across here. Okay, just like that. That looks really pretty now. And then we want to have something obviously on here that's going to be, you know, really nice and eye-catching. So again, I've got those postcards, or I have got the sort of more nature images that I obviously initially intended to go with. And then they just got superseded, to be honest, by the when I did the 3 and 30. So just reverting back now. Maybe something like this. So let's cut this one down. So if we were to have that one on there. Not sure I overly like it, funnily enough, with the gold doily on there. Just need to check that it's still filming. Right. Let me try it with some sheet music. Because we obviously covered up that whole sheet music from the bottom, so it might be quite nice to actually have some on here somewhere. That's quite nice, isn't it? Right. Let's just go for this because, again, you know, must just crack on now rather than keep, you know, overthinking and just thinking and thinking, shall I, shan't I, shall I, shan't I? Because, of course, that's not particularly fun to be watching, I'm sure. Oh, keep tearing that sheet music. It is very brittle, you know, and I'm not the most delicate person, so hence that's happening. Okay, so let's just pop this down. And again, when we glue it, we can just glue where that tear is, so as we really stick that down onto the page, like that. Okay. And we're going to have this here. Now, do we want to have some of this on here? Do we want to have like some glitter around this piece? Just glitter that up a little bit. Oops. Like that. So that's quite nice. Now, yeah. I was just wondering whether I needed to stamp somewhere, like in the corners of that piece, but I just held it over near the piece with the stamped corners, and I thought, no, definitely no. Okay, so that's quite nice. So I'm just going to pop that on there, trying to be a bit careful because obviously I've got the glittered edges now. Oops. Oh, excuse me if you heard that. It's my tummy rumbling where I'm obviously getting hungry. It's coming up to lunchtime, and yeah, I'm obviously getting hungry now. Okay, so that's that piece, and then we can have a lovely flower on here. And again, just going to take a little bit of lace, I think, and this time just finish it off. I think down that edge. Or do we want it on the bottom? I just thought the bottom, because then it kind of blends in with this one, which is then quite a nice sort of look, isn't it? Let's go for the bottom. Okay. Pop that on there like that and just cut that down. Okay, so that looks pretty, doesn't it? And then we're going to glue that on. Just before I glue that on, there's obviously the words and there's the label pieces. So, ooh, just going to see if we want any of those. I mean, these ones, they're really quite sort of fancy looking, although they're botanically and gardeny. I think they could be dressed up and made to look quite opulent as well. So that's nice, isn't it? Let's just ink around there. And then do we want to put some more gold around the edge of that? Oh, this is a really gold project. Yeah, very gold. But I'm quite liking it. I quite like the using of the gold occasionally. Really nice. So I'm just going to glue that down. I'm literally running out of fingers that are clean enough to even hold my pieces with now. They're so mucky and covered in glue and glitter and gold paint that I've barely even got a sort of finger that I can hold it with. Right, I'm going to just pop this flower on now. Like that. Okay, right, how's that looking? So that looks really pretty, doesn't it? Okay, let me stand up and yeah, I like how that looks. And obviously then underneath we've just got a little pocket here. So then we've got our little journaling piece here, we've got our pocket here, oops, and then we've got our big sort of flap here. Now, need to decide here what to do here. So again, you know, I do sort of reiterate, I really should have covered this prior to actually making the flap here, but you know, it just didn't really occur to me, you know, so I'll have to do it after the event. So I think what I might do is literally just cover it here like that. So I'm just going to tear that down on the edge like that, and it's actually torn into the edge, but I don't mind that. And I need to trim it off at the bottom because it's not very straight. Hopefully get it a bit straighter. Okay, I'm going to rough around the edges because we did do that with all the other pieces. Like that. And a bit more. Okay. And then we can obviously glue that on here like that. So you've only then got that small slither of black showing, which, you know, I don't mind that. I think that looks absolutely fine. So just gluing this one down. Okie dokie. Plenty of glue. And then we just pop that on. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have gilded this first before gluing it on. Again, just, yeah. I mean, you know, I know this is a feeble excuse, but when you're doing videos, you're busy thinking ahead, really. You're not necessarily focusing on the piece that you're doing, because you're thinking, oh, what am I going to do next? And hence it sometimes, you know, you maybe don't do things in the most logical way. I know that's a rubbish excuse, but let's just say that, and hopefully you guys will trust me on that. Right, just going to now gild around the edge of it. Excuse my hand again, it's just getting gold, you know, more and more gold. By the end of the day, I'm just going to look like a gold version of like the Tin Man, you know, because I'll be so covered. I'll go and get my daughter from school, and their mums there will just be like, oh my gosh, what has she been doing today? I'm sure they must think that regularly, to be honest, because oh, I'm always going there with filthy hands. In the summer, it's like coffee dye, you know, it obviously frequently is ink and paints and glue and, yeah, you name it, it's all over them. So they must seriously kind of think, what is she doing? What does she spend her day doing? Right. Oops. Can you see what's happened there? It's on the crease, which that's a bit annoying. So I'll have to see how that pans out once this glue's dry, because once the glue's dry, it might actually end up okay. You know, time will tell, and we'll have to see how that is. But that's our piece now so far. So of course now we want to just decorate up the back. So again, what we could do is maybe pop on one of these lovely pieces. And actually, again, I'm thinking maybe just tear this out. Just tear it, tear around that, and then we'll just ink that up nicely. You could just pop that maybe up here. Again, so we have some sheet music on there, and I'll try not to tear it this time when inking it. I probably still will. Something tells me I'm going to. Not even started yet, but I can tell I'm going to. It's very brittle and, you know, really quite tricky. Right, so if we have that there. Now I'm just thinking, because I will probably have some lace running down that edge. And I like this part of the sheet music, so I don't want to, you know, I want that still visible. So I'm just going to just tear that down slightly more. Okay, so we'll just ink that up now. I must say these papers go really nicely with the sheet music. They go really nicely actually with the book page as well. So yes, do get them. If you haven't got them, they're free. They're on my website. I know I'm constantly saying that, but you know, we all like a bargain, and these are completely free, so do get them. Okay, I like the colours too. Okay. Right, we've popped that down there. Oops, I've just thrown something in the bin that I didn't mean to. Right. Okay, so then we've got our lace trim there. So I'm just going to pop that down along here. Oops. Oh, come on. Fiddly. Okay, there we go. So that's our lace trim on the back. And again, what we could do is obviously add some glitter and things like that to all of our trims, you know, in a moment. So that's how it's looking so far. Now I'm just going to check in the camera to see how long I've been filming. Obviously I don't really know now, because I know that we had that, you know, camera flick off, so I'm not sure how long we really have been filming for. So I might have to call it quits, because obviously I've now lost track of you know, what the filming status is. So we might have to call it quits for now, and hopefully we'll come back and do some more in this, you know, either today or tomorrow. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys again soon. Thanks then, bye.